Ticonderoga. He's a modern man, He does yoga. Watch him do his dance. Rump, rump, rump in his spandex pants. Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Reactions, idiots. This is Corbin.
Megan.
Alexis.
Rick. And you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more juicy content.
It's so juicy.
Turn your head and cough.
It's time.
And thank you for supporting us on Patreon.
What he said was, thank you for supporting us on Patreon.
Sometimes the patronage gets me quite tipsy.
Overwhelmed. PK, for those of you who are in the know.
What did you do with your hands?
I didn't do anything with my hands. I did something with my
I thought
eyeball.
just for those of you in the know, like the British.
No!
I was like, what?
No, I said for those of you in the know, wink, wink, wink.
Okay.
What PK means.
For some reason, I thought
How
you
he
went like
got that,
It's okay.
that-
I
I have
have no idea.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm tipsy. But today, what are we doing?
I have no idea. I just show up.
You're the only one.
Me
who
too.
knows.
We're doing a speech. Hey! We've reacted to one video, not of his, about him, a long time ago.
And
Yes.
it's,
Want to read his name?
oh yes,
Do you remember him?
APJ Abdul Kalam. Yes. And this is the inspirational lesson for lifetime, how to manage failure and success.
So we did, I believe, 50 things you didn't know about this guy.
Yes.
And he's like this big, beloved scientist, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not. I don't know.
No, yeah, I can't confirm the scientist aspect of what you said. I
Or
can
political
confirm
guy. I can't remember.
what we had said in regard to.
I can't remember. But it's supposed to be a pretty good speech. We haven't done a speech in a while, so I was like, hey,
No,
let's do
when
a
was the
speech.
last speech? It's been months.
I mean, it might have been the stupid speech. Be Stupid by,
Was it? I think it was. I remember the reparations speech.
that was before that.
Yeah, that was way before that.
No, right, different guy.
Right.
Here we go.
University taught me, no book taught me, but that one person, that institution
Rebel.
that taught me such a big lesson.
brain.
So I thought of sharing with you how to manage success, most importantly the failure. I have repeated a number of times, I don't mind repeating that one incident. That incident for me is a university education.
He's beloved.
I have not read anywhere. I have so far, I have gone around the orbit 71 times around the sun. I have not gone through any education, such a beautiful education I got in 1979, 1980 period. I thought of sharing with you on this occasion. It is like this, 1979, August 17th, we were ready for launch of a satellite launch vehicle with 44 subsystem and thousands of components. It was built in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, and at that time, Professor Satish Dhawan was the chairman, Atomic Energy Space Commission, and he is also Space Center. And he gave me the task in 1973 to build a satellite launch vehicle. To put a satellite in the orbit 1973, he gave me this task. In 79, we were ready, thousands of engineers, 10,000 of workers and staff, they all worked together. Then we moved the satellite launch vehicle from Vikram Sarabhai Space Center to the now Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. So the launch vehicle was the launch pad. And that day, 17th August 1979, and I am the mission director, project director, and we are all in the control center, and computer takes over. T-minus 8 minutes, computer will take over, because very difficult for me as a mission director to check hundreds of parameters. So it has been checked, computer, we hand over the whole launch of the rocket system to the computer. So when T-minus 8 minutes came, I handed over to the computer for the launch on 17th August 1979. And thousands of people are waiting for the launch mission centers, and they are working throughout the country and some downrange stations. Exactly at T-minus 8 minutes, computer took over. And then at T-minus 4 minutes, computer put a hold. it says don't launch. So we are all, because at that time the whole rocket system alive, and every explosive system, propellant system, electronic system, all are on ready to launch. Computer says don't launch. And T-minus 4 minutes, then immediately a computer printout comes out. There's some problem in the second stage control system. There's leakage, so you don't launch. Behind me, there are number of experts, 6-7 experts, my expert 10 years, 20 years experienced people. I turn to them and they are their computers to find out what happened, and they tell me within a minute, they say there's a problem in the second stage control system and we cannot launch. Computer says, but we believe as experts, the igniter, that is oxidizer, is sufficiently more there. Even though there's a leakage in system, you can launch. They asked me to launch. That is, I can say to the computer to shut off the computer. I can manually launch the rocket system. I discussed with my experts. I believed in them. I agreed with them. I'm responsible for it. I immediately put the rocket in the manual mode. So rocket took off, 100 seconds, beautiful launch, and the rocket first stage did its job. It's a 4-stage rocket system. Then the second stage took off. Within a minute, within a second, it got into spin. That means it should be steady. It's a controlled rocket system by a guidance system. But it was going to spin. I knew I lost the rocket system. Within few seconds, instead of putting the satellite in the orbit, the whole system went to Bay of Bengal. So it was a failure. And then how do you handle a failure? It's very important for entrepreneurs. Life is not so simple. We have to handle the failures with stout heart. My chairman, that is the Professor Satish Dhawan, exactly 6:30, I was very tired of continuously working. He come to my room, you join me for a press conference. On that day, in the morning, there's a press conference. Hundreds of press reporters, media people have assembled. Just Professor Dhawan told me, Satish Dhawan told me, I am going to handle the press conference. You are going to come with me. He took me there. And there was a press, the national press, international press. They asked a lot of questions. How can you put 20 crores in Bay of Bengal? One guy asked. And like that, so many serious questions. After all, people will ask questions, people's money. So like that, number of questions were there. And Professor Satish Dhawan said, yes, it's a failure. First time you have launched, we have gained a lot of system, and definitely we will succeed. I'll give all the support my technologies. I'll give all the support to my scientists. We will succeed in a year's time, he said. Friends, did you observe what happened there? I am the mission director. I am the project director. I have failed the missions. With me, 5,000 people have worked. But Chairman, Indian Space Research Organization, he took the responsibility of the failure. He completely switched my failure to his failure. This is the leadership quality.
Absolutely.
Exactly after 1 year, that is 18th July 1980, we go to the launch pad and the countdown starts. T-minus 8 minutes, I hand over to the computer. Computer checks out. First stage, it initiates the rocket system. First stage gives the required velocity. Second stage gives the required velocity. Third stage gives the required velocity. And fourth stage required the escape velocity for to put the satellite in the orbit. I am seeing in front of me what is the performance taking place. I took the microscope, I put the mic, I announced all the station. Here is your mission director. The satellite is in the orbit and we congratulate you, I told them. No, that's not the important, that's one of the important things happened. But after 30 minutes, Vikram Satish Dhawan called me. Go for press conference, you conduct the press conference, he said. Can you see the significance? failure he took it as success he gave me to my team.
Yeah.
It's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. This is a great lesson which no university taught me, no book taught me, but that one person, that institution that taught me such a big lesson. So I thought of sharing.
Wow.
That music was from a film.
Yeah, it was.
What was it from?
I don't remember.
Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
This is what they do. But how do you know that?
Was that?
How do you know that?
Wait a minute. No. That was not Theory of Everything. It was A Beautiful Mind.
It was a
Oh,
It's a
beautiful
Beautiful
mind.
Mind. Russell Crowe is looking at all the things going around his head. It's
It's
A Beautiful Mind.
mind.
If you haven't seen A Beautiful Mind, watch that film. It's my favorite film depicting, it's obviously a true story, but it depicts mental illness in one of the most profoundly beautiful ways I've ever seen. But back to that.
Also, Paul Bettany steals the show. Go.
I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on that because, and be honest about your, I know you will be, I don't even need to preface it with that. What are your thoughts on
Don't lie to us.
You don't have a lot. Per usual.
it? Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it?
I agreed with it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a. I didn't know where he was going because I didn't know the story.
Right.
I was not aware of, but it's a wonderful story of like he was talking about leadership and what you wish if you have a boss or if you have who's ever over you at the time. That's what she said.
Wow.
Sorry, I just ruined it. But that's how you wish they would act when they would, even though if you fail miserably, they will take the responsibility for it because they're in charge. And then in the same scenario, when you success, they're not the one taking on that
Yes.
praise. They're giving it out. So it's a great speech in terms of showing leadership to what people true leadership is. It's
Leadership.
taking the failure when even if it's not your fault.
Correct.
And then also giving out the praise when you could take it for yourself.
And the lessons learned from failure. And I've mentioned this before on the channel, I'm a big fan of the mindset of Navy SEALs. And there's a couple of Navy SEALs who've written books. Jocko Willink is one of them, and another one is Commander Rourke Denver. And they're not just SEALs. They've run missions and they have run SEAL BUDS training and have written books about the SEAL mindset and what it takes to be a Navy SEAL. And this one book, Jocko Willink and a partner of his wrote together called Extreme Ownership. And it's about one of the lessons that's learned and why so many from the military are great at teaching management skill because they understand true leadership. And Jocko Willink has said, our mistakes are paid for in blood. So you don't know what it means to make a mistake until you realize the mistake you made literally cost a friend's life. And you sleep with that night. And you recognize when you're out on the field. And the other thing that's really important about that is that you can do everything right and still have everything go wrong. And can you live with that? Can you live with that reality and that life isn't fair? And the two lessons in his speech that are really resonate with me are the first one in regard to the fact of in true leadership, and it's very lacking in world leaders today, is the reality of whenever anything goes wrong, you take ownership of that. You own it. Even if you weren't the direct person responsible for it, you recognize there's things I could have and should have done that would have contributed to that, and where did I play a part? And then the second part is that when it goes well, you give the credit to the other people. You don't take it with an arrogant slap on the back. The other lesson, it always reminds me of physical fitness, is that you don't get gains without failures. One of the traits of strength training is to push to failure. Reps and sets are great, but it really doesn't mean anything unless you take the muscle to total failure. You literally cannot do anything anymore and you're still trying. It's only after you've reached failure that you're going to get gains. And that principle is just a universal truth. And that's what he's talking about, is that you don't get gains until you push through failure. And you have to not just get to the failure, you have to push through the failure. So this is right up my alley.
That's a great point, Micah. But yeah, I want to know more about this gentleman because we did one with him, and you guys said he was this beloved.
Like
So-
nobody in India is more beloved.
So I would love to learn more about him. I know we've reacted to the 50 things we don't know about him, and this is our first speech. So if there's other speeches or videos or other ways we can get to know this guy more,
and or books he's written.
yes,
Yeah, all of the above.
please let us know. And we'll try to get Micah to talk less next time.
You should stop dominating things on the channel, would you?